Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pastrami Nation, the meat of pop culture. My name is Nolan Smith. Joining me today is Rebecca Benson.
Hello.
And the host for today's interview is Mr. Kevin Hoskinson.
Hey, guys. How's it going? Very cool. So today we actually have a really, really cool interview for you guys. They just came back premiering their new short film at Horror Fest International. We have director Alex Kahuam and, of course, actor Ted Raimi joining us today. How are you guys?
Very good. Thank you. Very
good.
You.
Of course. Thank you guys for coming. We really appreciate it. You guys premiered the short film Red Light at Horror Fest International this past weekend. How was the reception of the movie there? How was it?
It was excellent. I was there. Alex, unfortunately, was in Mexico City, I believe, and so he couldn't make it. I think Alex, you did want to go, I'm sure, but we would have loved to have had him there. But instead, my co-producer Marco de Molina and I went there, and it was a wonderful reception. It was as packed a house as it could have been, as with COVID restrictions being what they are. But the audience seemed to love it. It was at the it played with many other shorts and many other excellent shorts, and there were ones from all over Europe, Central America, South America. So it was a true international film festival. I think the reception was really excellent. I felt very blessed and lucky that our picture was received so well.
Fantastic.
Great.
Very nice. So what just out of curiosity, just a side note, what was it like kind of being, the whole world is kind of shut down right now, no Comic Cons, no other film festivals, things like that. Was it, how did it feel being there? Was it pretty nice being out in public, being able to socialize, or?
Yes, it was terrifying in one sense, because it is COVID and you're all of a sudden with hundreds and hundreds of people, and that's a little frightening, but nothing beats a live movie in this world. And provided, I think, you do it safely, it's a communal experience, movies that I think everybody needs and loves and wants. And now,
absolutely,
I did that festival with Marco de Molina, but Alex was just returned from Sitges, Spain, where the film actually had its screening premiere. And so it was both its European premiere and its actual premiere in Sitges, Spain. So Alex can tell you more about that, I'm sure.
Yes, please, Alex. That's congratulations, by the way. That's awesome. How was the reception there? What was everything like over there?
Oh, it was awesome. It was so cool because, again, we also had a full house, and it was like, oh my God. And, a lot of people there. And, it's really nice to go back to theaters, because like we are big fans of like sitting down, you're in a theater, the sound is great, the big screen. And it's really, when it's virtual, I don't have anything against it, but it's not the same experience. Like we make movies for, cinema. So, it was just tricky. The flight restrictions. I was there for a month. It was just really, really, really hard. And I wanted to go to, Utah, but, I had to, now I'm quarantined myself.
Gotcha.
Yes. And then we'll continue doing stuff. But I'm glad Ted and Marco went there and they had a great time. And we won, and that's awesome. That is wonderful.
We did.
Congratulations.
We won, and it was. Thank you so much. We're all so excited about it, and we thought we had a fair chance, but we were really up against some incredible competition, including some incredible films from Sweden and England and Australia, and we were the winners, and we're very humbled but also incredibly pleased by it.
Awesome. Well, that's great to hear. So for people who, couldn't catch the premieres of these films at, any of these festivals, tell us about Red Light. What's it about?
Red Light is, I'm sorry, Alex, you want to take this one, buddy? You're the writer.
No, I was going to say you can, because you say it very well.
Oh, all right. Well, Red Light is about a group of obnoxious social media influencers who one night on a crazy wild drinking binge during Halloween encounter two vengeful brothers hell-bent on correcting them and turning them into decent and non-annoying citizens. I'll say that without giving too much away. I play one of the brothers. Brian Krause plays the other one. And together, we're sort of the morality team in a most brutal way. I'll say that. Yes. And this picture was short, really. It was it was designed to be a proof of concept, meaning it was a template, really, to make a feature film. And then COVID hit. And so Alex, Marco, and I went, well, now what are we going to do? We can't take this to festivals. So we tried to get people by email that we knew, including large studios and with the contacts we had. But as good as that was, there's nothing like a schmooze session. Just really sit down and convince somebody that you've got a picture that they want, but we couldn't do that. So it was really hard. Plus production was shutting down everywhere anyway. So our chances were even less. And so despite our connections, we were kind of stuck. But then Alex came up with a great idea, which was, he said, look, why don't we send this doggone thing to as many film festivals as we can? And Alex is no stranger to it with his films, Escondido and several others. He's a kind of an old hand at it. And we did. And fortunately, his kind of brilliant maneuvering got us into a lot of really major ones. And so we were very, very pleased. And we got it into that. And now I think, Alex, what are we up to? Eight?
Almost 10 official selections, yes.
10 now, yeah. Wow. So we got into 10 festivals. We're very pleased. We thought it could stand on its own, but we didn't know it would be this well received, and we're incredibly happy about it.
So what happens from this point on? Is it a full-length movie in the future?
Yes.
Alex?
Yes, that's what we want. I mean, we already have the screenplay. We already have pretty much everything. So right now we're going to do more film festivals because, as Ted was saying, we have 10 more and we have 5 that are super big. Like this weekend, we have Mexico City, Morbido, which is the biggest one in Latin America. And we have in France, Strasbourg, Fantastic Film Festival, which is the biggest one in France. So we're doing very well in film festivals and we're making a lot of noise. And nice. I mean, our goal is to make this movie next year, if everything.
Cool.
Yeah, we want to make it next year. That's the idea. With COVID being even what it is, we were going to go ahead, and COVID is certainly nothing to shrug at.
Right.
Certainly, you must keep everybody safe, but assuming you have proper safety protocols and you're using those protocols well, I don't see any reason why you can't make a movie.
Absolutely. Definitely. Sugar, we all had a chance to watch the movie too, and it was incredible. We all really, really loved it. Nice,
Thank you.
dark, and I'm definitely there for the full length. I will be there.
Excellent.
Yeah. So is everyone planning on just reprising their stuff and everything and just continuing on from the short?
Yes. I'm sorry. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
I seem to have lost everybody for a moment. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I've gotten stuck here. Can you guys hear me okay?
There you go. Now we can see you too.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know what happened. Internet,
man.
weirdness. Okay. Anyway, but yes, we're hoping to reprise everything in terms of I'm going to star in it. Alex will direct the feature, and it worked quite well. I mean, the short, in a sense, we all knew we wanted to make a feature. That was the whole idea. Not the short was incidental in a sense, and so it was also sort of, I guess, a little bit of an experiment in one sense to see if, does Alex like working with me and do I like working with Alex? That's a big deal because when a star and a director, they're other than the fact that they have to deal with each other in an artistic sense, they also just have to have breakfast, coffee, and dinner with each other for weeks and weeks on end. And that's not a small thing. You have to like who you work with. But I wound up really liking Alex, and I think we get along great on set. So I can't wait for the feature. I really can't.
Nice.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
How did you guys come together with working on this?
Alex?
So it was with Marco de Molina, which is one of the producers of the project. I met him a couple years back, and I did a movie called Escondida. So that was a really independent film in Mexico City, like Super Gorilla style. And when I moved to Los Angeles, which is now almost 9 years, I told Marco, hey, it would be great to do the same thing, but in Hollywood, of course, with changes, right? So we did the script, we started to work everything out. And then Marco, told me about, hey, I know Ted. And I was like, oh shit, this is great. I'm a big fan. It would be great, if you sent the script. And then Mark sent the script, and that was like the connection. And it was great because, Ted loved the script. And I was like, wow. Because, I told this to Ted while I was growing up. I used to watch, Sheena and, Evil Dead. And I'm a big fan. So it's great. I was like, wow, what an honor. I remember the first FaceTime. It was like, oh shit.
I did
Ted
too.
Raimi.
Dude, well, I've seen your movie, and I was like, man, this kid's, he's not a kid anymore, but when he directed that, he was really, really young. And I was like, well, if he can do that then, I'm sure, he can only get better. Directors don't really get worse. Well, directors kind of usually have an arc. It's weird.
Right.
Like directors in their teens, 20s, they start off really raw and fascinating, and it's their highest creativity. 30s, they get really interesting. And when they kind of peak at 40s, they kind of go a little down. And then when they get in their 50s and 60s, they can be washed up.
Right.
But Alex, I went, look, Alex has got 40 more years of good movies in him.
Wow.
So I wasn't worried one bit. But there's a weird thing with, I don't know how you feel about that, Alex. I don't know. It's like, if you look at Hitchcock's, Hitchcock was brilliant all the way through his career. And I'm old enough that I saw Alfred Hitchcock's last movie in the theaters when I was young.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It was called Family Plot. It was with Bruce Dern, and it was still an excellent movie, but it was the first movie I'd ever seen of his. I was like, wow, I was just getting into movies, and I saw it in the movie theaters. It was like 1980 or something. Right. And it was the last movie he ever directed. And then I went back and started watching his old. I was like, oh, wow. Like, why isn't he that good now? But, it happens. But it doesn't matter. I think, I strongly suspect when Alex is quite old, he'll still be making very good movies and so I don't think he's got, Alex, you have a good lifetime of movies left in you. Personally, that's my personal opinion.
Thank you, Ted. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
And we have enough life.
And I will just continue to get weirder. As all character actors do, they just get stranger and stranger,
Oh, that's well.
After all, like who else is like guys like Strother Martin? Here's a great example. I think we all probably know who Strother Martin is, right? We're all film fanatics. So Strother Martin, when he was younger, was just playing like these kind of square, nerdy guys. He'd play guys who were like, now here's what I think. He was kind of square and kind of nerdy. And then he just got, Strother Martin, I don't know, but he just looks like one of these guys that maybe snorted a lot of Coke and drank heavily. Yeah, probably. And then he was the Strother Martin that we all knew. And then he started talking, and all his movies were like, then he was, crazy like that,
Yeah.
And he was, he was, is that Strother Martin, by the way, in that Paul Newman movie, the prison movie? Is that him in the?
I think it is
that him
actually.
Making the speech in Cool Hand Luke? Is he the sheriff?
Yes.
Right, that's Strother Martin. Right, perfect.
Definitely.
Perfect.
Yep.
Hard for him. But he wasn't like that when he was younger. He just got weirder. And so did almost everybody. And now, I think you sort of, as a director, and I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, but
no, you're fine.
As like directors, I think directors and actors, and maybe all artists, just become more of what they are. They never become less. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And Ted, you were talking about Hitchcock a moment ago. Were those some of your big influences kind of growing up as far as what kind of movies you watched and stuff?
I watched everything just about, but I was heavily influenced by Hitchcock. I think there's a lot of people. I know Alex, you dug Hitchcock, didn't you?
It was very good company.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like Hitchcock. I also loved, though, that rapid pace style so much of like directors like Howard Hawks, and I love that. It was very interesting. Well, even directors of his day were moving the camera around, doing crazy things. It's not a new thing at all. As soon as they had a dolly, they were using it every 5 seconds. But Hawks kept it like this. He kept it at eye level. He kept very square shots. And it was almost like he removed himself. He's a very interesting director because he removed himself from the movie. It wasn't very cinematic in that regard, but it moved like this. There's no fat, not an ounce of fat on any of those movies. And it's incredible. And I was very influenced by that. But as an actor, I always loved the character actors the best. I always found the leading men to be personally rather disposable, in my personal opinion, when I was younger, and I still do. And I also liked guys who straddled the two, like Robert Mitchum is one that sort of straddles. He's so weird. He's a goon. He should have been a thug. He could have easily been a Republic Pictures B thug, B player, but he's not. And so he's one that kind of is in the middle. Those guys fascinate me too, but I always wanted to be the guy that made things happen to other people. I wasn't very interested in being the guy who things happen to. And so I loved the character actors the best. And most of my career has been that, but the parts that I like that are leads, such as this one that Alex wrote, is like very unique. They don't write many parts like that. So he is a guy who he's, I guess, the lead of the picture, you might say, but he's certainly a guy that is an instigator and not one that is things happening to him as much. So it's very interesting.
All right. And now, Alex, what about you? I know the influences for you, you said Hitchcock. What other influences have helped shape your career?
Oh, many. I got Kubrick, Orson Welles. With Hitchcock, it was very interesting because when we were in pre-production, I was talking to Ted, we were talking about The Rope because I love that film so much.
Rope is amazing.
It's like an envision as a long take, and I'm very fascinated by that because it creates so much tension in between, So that was the main goal with this concept, and that I want to do also for the feature because it's very, the camera work is great, but the acting has to be very solid.
The nerving, because you're watching it and you're seeing what's happening around you. When we were watching it, I was like, oh, now. Like, there's why is a truck pulling up? What's going on? I love it. So well done. And it built the tension without really showing much. You just showed the background of it, everything evolving behind. It was extremely well done.
Thank you. Yes, it was a great choreography, from the cinematographer, actors, everybody. So that's what I love about the long takes is teamwork. Everybody has to do their best, and it's gonna look great if everyone does great.
Right.
And
it does. And there's always the possibility, and it happens. Alex likes to rehearse a reasonable amount. It seems to me, it's just an actor who's worked in the business a long time. He doesn't take too long to rehearse. Once we all understand, he goes right into it. But then, because his takes are 4 minutes long, you could easily goof, and people do on minute 3.5. And it's not just two people chatting. You've got the car and the kids, camera, lights. And then it's all gone. I remember once, in fact, during that truck scene, during the abduction scene, I get out of the truck, and at that point, the scene's been going on for 2.5, 3 minutes, and I got out of the truck and I tripped, and that was it.
Oh no!
It was right at the end, and I think it was a really good take too. And that's just gotta throw it out. There's no way to fix it. That's just a big fat cut.
Yeah. I remember that one.
And that's when I had the most respect for Alex, because I remember fucking that up and looking at him going, how's this guy going to handle this? Is he going to handle it? Because that's the equivalent of an actor going through 4-page monologue, and on minute 3.5, a light falls.
Oh yeah.
And the grip fucks him or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, how do you handle that? That could be a terrible moment. But Alex was like, no problem. Let's go back to one. I'm like, okay, this guy's all right. This guy, you know. I mean, inside he might have been chewing his guts out, I'm sure. But
Right.
No, but it was a great one. It was so funny. And it's part of it. If we're gonna make long takes, we know that something wrong might happen and we have to redo it. So I mean, it's fine. I wouldn't be like, oh, Ted, nah. I would be like, hey, let's do it again.
Yeah.
Perhaps someone else was, like, oh shit, but not me.
Yeah. Well, I think most, perhaps, yeah.
That's a great story.
Yeah, that's really cool. Go ahead, Nolan. Sorry.
Oh no, go right ahead, Kevin.
No, so Alex, we kind of we've been kind of working backwards on this whole thing. But where did the seed of the idea of the movie come from? Like, what made you spark this really great Ted was saying, he told us it's a dark morality tale, or them trying to what kind of sparked the idea for you?
So as I was saying, like the original idea came 10 years ago, but it all came because I'm from Mexico City originally before moving to Los Angeles, and there was a problem with kidnapping. So I wanted to make a film about kidnapping and with young kids who get in trouble, but it's like back in the day it was YouTubers, now it's Instagrammers. So it's been evolving. So then I was like, it would be great to do the same thing, but in LA or in the US, but changing it to like Ted was saying, a moral. They want to take out like the trash, right, or from the streets. Kind of like these guys. Well, these kids are really annoying and they're doing really bad things for this world, and they want to take them off. So I feel like it's very interesting. I'm very fascinated by human condition. And I love, analyzing the psychology. And I feel like Ted's character has a lot of that. He's a very complicated character.
Yes.
And the role is really complicated. And, Ted nails it big time. I really like what he did in the concept. And I can't wait for the feature because there's many more things that he does that is very, like, the psychology is very complicated. So, yeah, I'm fascinated by that.
It is. Yeah, he wrote it. He wrote it as a wonderful. He's a great bad guy because the greatest there's two big mistakes that writers often make when writing bad guys, even good writers. And the first is they write them bad. They write them as bad people.
Right.
But, of course, nobody who was ever bad ever thought of themselves as bad. They think of themselves as needing to break the law for the greater good.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm sure even Adolf Hitler must have thought, well, all this is really awful, but I'm doing it for their own good. Mm-hmm. In the end, they'll thank me because German culture is the only culture.
Right.
Whatever. I don't know what's going through his sick mind, but at some point, I'm sure, but no bad guy wrings his hands and goes, moo ha ha. And yet writers write that. The other thing writers make the mistake frequently of doing when writing bad guys, in my opinion, is they give them these very, very long, involved speeches. And the reason they do it is because the bad guys are the most fun to write. Oh, and it's very tempting. Writers are alone when they write things. Mm-hmm. And they like to hear things because you're lonely for hours on end. You're all alone. And they write these big, long speeches, thinking in their thoughts. And so you often get these rather one-sided characters that have these long speeches. It's very, very common. Television especially is just the worst. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can hardly, even today, you turn on a cable show, you'll just find these dreadful long monologues, but this had none of it. This guy was very interesting because of the terrible things he does, but he thinks he's doing good, which makes for a complex character.
Right. And it takes us,
among other things.
We all know, we all see these, the social mediaites out there, filming every walk of life, everything they're doing. So it's something that you could see right outside, your door.
They do. And also they'll sometimes unfortunate influencers, they'll take pictures of famous people who are now homeless people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they horrible. Put them up, or this recent one that happened like 3 years ago, some woman who wanted more likes, and she took a picture of this former actor who works at Trader Joe's.
Oh yeah, I remember
that guy's name.
Yeah,
some guy. He was on some show. Anyway, it's a fine job working at Trader Joe's. They treat their employees well, I understand, benefits and stuff, and they seem to work. Anyway, but that's not the point. She went, ha ha, look what's happening. Though it was a terrible thing, and the guy was ridiculed by some, and it was just unbelievable that people would do such things. Yeah. Though stranger that she thought working at Trader Joe's was a bad thing, which is bizarre. Right. But still, this is the kind of world that we live in. Mm-hmm. Here we are. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's sad.
I can't explain it, but I think Alex really hit on something very prescient, which is that it's making us all crueler and more egotistical, and it's making us care a lot less. That's a very interesting idea.
And we're doing it for, not we, but, as in a community or as a whole, for likes and for comments. And it's sickening that, you're putting, your fellow humans in your, on display just to get that reaction. So the way the film opened, I won't give a whole lot away, just with, the homeless man and whatnot, very timely, because I think we've all seen that on social media, and to me, it does sicken me. So again, I'm not trying to root for the bad guy here, but it's that moral compass.
Well, yeah. And I think it was, Alex hit on something that was, I don't know if Alex, when you wrote that, when you wrote that character, were you thinking about the situation in the United States, or Mexico, or both?
No, just in the United States, because I've been living in LA for 8 years. So now it's my home, and I come often into Mexico City to see my parents, whatever. But now my chip is is in the US. So I wanted to pretty much do it over there. But it's very interesting that what Ted and you guys are saying, that everybody that has seen Red Light, they root for Ted.
Yeah.
And when Ted is punishing the kid, they go, great, punish them. Because when I was in Spain, and it was after the screening, everybody was like, Ted, they were clapping, and they were telling me Ted was doing the right thing. And it was
we heard that too in Colorado. Excuse me, in Utah. Yeah, and I didn't expect that. I hope they would find something that was in common with them, but I didn't think they'd be rooting for it.
I had the same reaction. I'm like,
I was like, wow, it's great. I think it's great. That means your script really hit a nerve. Well, it's good. That's important.
Yes, and again, everybody's sick of influencers and recording this and posting this, and like everybody's like getting tired of this. So it's very interesting that we are hitting a nerve, and I love that. We have a message, and it's great. My opinion.
I think so too, and I think too, like Alex wrote this character that, like all good characters that you're disgusted with at the same time of liking, they have something that you can relate to. And I think a good example of that I don't want to give Alex's script away, so I'll give another movie example of a similar kind of a character, which is in the story Reanimator by H.P. Lovecraft. He wrote this character of Herbert West, who does unspeakable things in the name of science. And normally a moo-ha-ha-ha scientist is such a trite character that you wouldn't even consider writing something like that. And even sort of was to some degree in his time. But why you like it is because that character doesn't compromise. He believes in his integrity. He says, I'm an integral guy. I do what I do for science, and it must go through. He's not trying to, you know what I mean? And we all understand that in some degree, that we've done things in the name of morality and our own personal value system that was probably disgusting to other people. You know, we do it all the time. Just a small degree, we try and check it, but I think that part of that character that Alex wrote was delicious, personally.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think another great aspect too is that there are consequences, that you are still held accountable. And that's kind of what I got from it as well.
Yeah. And I agree. Go on, Alex, please.
Oh no, I was gonna say that when they're like really mean to the homeless, like that's really like, you know, nasty, and you hate the characters there. You know, they're like
automatically.
Kids are terrible. And we did it, you know, softly because I don't want to give it away, but in the feature screenplay, we have it even worse. Like you will hate them more. Like, you know, so it's, so go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's all. No, I agree. And I think that short was really heightened by Alex's direction, certainly. And the lighting was one of the most beautifully photographed things I had been in quite some time. I remember thinking when I saw it, I was like, man, I haven't been photographed that nicely in a long time, in 2 or 3 years. You know, the last thing I did that looked that good was this TV show I did called Dead Wax for Shudder.
Yes.
And that was directed by Graham Resnick, and another guy similar to Alex in that, you know, photography is incredibly important to him, and that was beautifully lit too. But that was a while ago, so I was really pleased, you know. And you know, typically a short is something people just crank out to get it out. So let me make this damn short. You know, it's short. I'm gonna make it short, make it fast. But you know, this I felt there was a lot of love put into the photography, and that was nice.
And the fact that you were able to capture so much depth in such a short amount of time as well.
Yeah, I think you have to with shorts. Like film, you can have periods during that where you can mess up fine. Because if you can mess up here and there in a feature because you have an hour and a half. A short, everything has to be great every single frame. There's no messing around. Not the acting, not the direction, not the camera work, not the sound, nothing. You don't have that luxury. So everybody needs to bring it at that moment. And I personally think it succeeded in that.
Very cool. Yeah. You had brought up earlier about how you like to play, you know, characters who are making things happen to other people. Do you like the more, you know, because you've played a variety of characters throughout your career, everything from, you know, Xena and Hercules, like we were talking about, to like a movie like Skinner and even to like something like this. Is there a particular sandbox you like to play in as far as if you want to play like, you know, like this character, or do you like to play more like, you know, the, you know, a little bit goofier kind of fun character or whatnot?
Well, I prefer serious roles with an absurdist side.
Okay. Yeah.
That's sort of what I've usually played. I started off playing these very intense. One of the first roles. Well, let's see. I had one of the first big movies I did was for Wes Craven for Shocker, but then I did this sort of oddball romance movie where I was a paranoid delusional. I did with Deborah Foreman and called Lunatics, a love story. And after that, I did a couple of Tom Clancy movies where I was a CIA analyst. And then I did 3 years on another TV show called Sequest where I was a computer analyst. So all these are pretty, you know, straightforward, straight kind of parts. Xena was just an anomaly in my career. It happened to be a very popular show, and I was very happy for that. But I've never before or since done anything like that. Really, that was. But the producer I knew, Robert Tappert, and he cast me in that, knowing me from a very young age.
Right.
You know, knowing I was could be goofy, but I don't usually play those kinds of parts. That just was, you know. But I am in real life kind of goofy guy, but I don't really care to play those for the most part.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I like we were talking about before the show. We were talking about you know, your character in Ash versus Evil Dead. I think he plays that line of a serious role, but he's a little bit aloof, I would say.
Oh yeah, he's a complete idiot. That character.
Yeah, he is.
He's a complete idiot. That's pretty was fun to play. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think I do. As far as the movies I've done that are comedy, they're almost all with my old dear friend Bruce Campbell, and
Yes.
I've done, I don't know, 9 or 10 feature films with him, and another 50 or 60 hours of television, and those have been comedy. But that's just because Bruce does lighter stuff for the most part.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and so I like working with him, and I'll always, if he's doing something, I'll want to work with him because he's just an old friend. But normally I don't gravitate towards those parts. In fact, after I did Xena, it was huge. It was the #1 syndicated show in America and many countries around the world. And I was very lucky and fortunate, but my agents then strictly sent me out for comedy. And I failed every single audition for a year. There wasn't one I booked. And they were boggled. They were like, what's the matter with you? You just did this comedy part that was the biggest TV show, syndicated TV show in the world. And I tried to tell them, I'm like, I don't know how to do comedy auditions. I can do that, but I can't audition. Like, you know, I'm not really, that's not my bag. And I failed them. I failed all of them. It was a terrible year. It was the worst audition year of my life, you know, until I quit those agents and I kind of bopped around. I finally have an agency now that finally understands me at last. And, you know, it's been a great 5 years. You know, I've worked almost consistently. So anyway, the point of the matter is, you know, comedy is sort of an oddball thing for me. But you know, I'd rather do what this is. I'd much prefer to be in movies like Red Light and work with guys like Alex.
Cool.
Do comedy.
And I know COVID kind of put a damper on things, but do either of you have anything in the works currently, possibly in the future?
Mr. Alex?
Yes, I'm about to finish another concept for another feature.
Cool.
It's called 165 Days in Quarantine. And it's pretty much something that sparked in quarantine. I wrote 4 feature screenplays because there was, you know, a lot of time that I was, you know, indoors. And this one, it's really heavy. I was talking to Ted actually about it like a couple days ago. And that is, I shot it 4:3, black and white. I went old school. And I'm really excited about that one. And also it's a long take. Okay. But that one was the longest in my career. It's 13-minute long take.
I'm really the only thing I was angry about is that I wasn't in that one. So
no.
That I'm disappointed in, but it's gonna be a badass movie.
Oh yeah. Sounds great.
It's gonna be badass.
And you know, it will be great. I have other scripts that I'm thinking, you know, with Ted. I mean, if he likes the scripts, because the idea is also when you connect with, you know, with a great actor, you want to keep, you know, working. And we have Red Light, but with these 4 screenplays, I have. If Ted likes the script, it'll be great.
Let me see it, man. Let me see that script. Send it over. I want to see that thing.
We want you to like it.
I want first crack at it.
I will show it to you soon.
Okay.
I just need to polish it a little bit more. But it's good.
I want to see that thing, man. You can see, like, this is hilarious. Like, this is the age of COVID, right? Like, Alex and I have been working together for now a little more over a year. But we've seen each other for like 3 days. Like in person. This is why we're catching up now. This is just how the world we live in. In film, normally, like, we would be hanging out every single day and going this and that. But it's very strange, you know, how Hollywood works right now. It's very oddball.
It is very weird.
Yeah.
Hopefully 2021 is going to be, you know, better.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
What about you, Ted? What have you been working on?
Well,
Anything?
I'm working on 2 projects, neither of which I can tell you all the details about. I signed NDAs for both of them. But
gotcha.
One is, I can tell you this. One is a video game for Sony PlayStation from a playable character.
Nice.
It is horror, I can tell you that.
Very cool.
So it's fun. I'm running around with mocap suit, you know, and on a giant green screen stage, you know, at Digital Domain in Los Angeles, California. And sadly, that's all I can tell you about that. And right now I'm speaking to you, as you can see, from a hotel room, and I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, working on another TV show, which I cannot talk about. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right. No, hey.
Yeah.
You're staying busy. That's awesome.
I'm very lucky. I'm just very lucky. This has been the busiest 5 years of my life since I was Alex's age, so I'm incredibly happy.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great.
And Georgia is very humid.
Oh
yeah.
Very humid down here.
Oh no.
We're a little cold over here.
Where are you guys again?
I'm Southern California.
She's
right.
I'm in the mountains.
I'm in the desert, and then Kevin, you are
in Portland, Oregon.
Portland. All right. Wow, you guys all West Coast guys.
Yep, all West Coast.
Everybody's on the West Coast.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's nice.
Yeah.
Now, if somebody didn't get a catch red light at one of the festivals, is there a way for them to check this out? Is it going to get any kind of release to where people can view it online or purchase it or anything like that?
Actually, we're gonna have a we cannot share it yet, but on December it's going to be very available.
Cool.
We're gonna be in a convention, and it's gonna be like a virtual online thingy where it's gonna be available for almost, I think, 3 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yes, so people are gonna be able to watch it on December, and we're excited, but we cannot share it much yet.
It's okay.
The answer is a big fat no. It will be yes. And then, we'll probably include it, I imagine, as a DVD extra and with a feature.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
Very cool. Yeah.
To that, yeah, that'd be super cool.
That's awesome. Congratulations again, you guys, on all the awards and just it being, received so well. That's really, really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
of course. Congrats. Yeah, definitely. And I want to just ask you something real quick, Ted. We're really, really big. Comic books are kind of our bread and butter here at Pastrami Nation.
Right.
We love comics. We review comics. And you were in one of the greatest comic book movie trilogies of all time. I just had to say, we love it, which is Spider-Man, of course.
Oh, thank you. Very nice.
Spider-Man trilogy. Yeah, we're all
Thank
very...
you.
Honored to have you both
Thank
here. And thank you for all you guys do. And then also I want to give a huge shout out to Horror Fest International. If it wasn't for them, this interview wouldn't have been possible, and we're highly appreciative of them. And thank you guys.
Oh yeah, they were awesome. If anybody gets a chance next year, do go to Horror Fest International. It is an incredible experience, and it's high up in the hills there in Utah. It's an incredibly beautiful.
Yes.
And nothing bad to say about that town. It's just like heaven landed on earth. It's the prettiest place, just about the prettiest little town I've ever seen.
Gotta go next year. Yep, we gotta go.
Yep, definitely.
Road trip.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thank you,
Definitely
gentlemen.
do.
We really do appreciate your time. If you stopping by, talking about
Yes.
Red Light. I look forward to next year, hopefully seeing it go into production for the full movie and seeing a full length movie, because the way it ended, it just makes you want more. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for having us. We're very delighted to be on your show, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
And everybody,
Thank you.
Pastrami.com for news, reviews, and more.